What's up, everybody? It's kind of hard to believe. This thing right here has been out for 6 long months. And I think it's time to take another look at the Microsoft Surface Pro because, hey, given if it's on a roughly an annual basis for refresh, we should be about, halfway through. Now, it might take a little bit longer than a year. We don't quite know when Microsoft is going to refresh this thing. But after 6 months, it's kind of time to take a look back at the Surface Pro and did it hit the mark? What's going on? And so here's some glorious slow pan porn of the device. And to be honest, the good news here is that there really isn't any news. It's just kind of worked, and that shouldn't be a big surprise, to be honest. Microsoft has been using this form factor for many years now. Kind of outlined it with the Surface Pro 3, then we had the Pro 4, and now we have the Pro. And they were having some heritage with some little bit smaller devices prior to that, and so they should be getting it right at this point. Now, granted, the bezels are starting to look a little 2015 and everything else, but the battery life coming in at a rock solid 8 hours. That Microsoft promises something around 13. But I'm getting 8 hours. I've traveled with this thing. I've been to Amsterdam. I've been to New York a couple times. It's great for back of the plane. And as you would expect, the form factor works great. It's a good device. It's probably most people's entry-level looking Surface at this point because of the lowest price point for the premium hardware. And the kickstand and everything else works well. The camera, don't buy it for the camera. I think everybody knows that. But it's a good device. It has held up well. I kind of did an informal poll with a bunch of friends and coworkers and people that I know have this device. I'd say give or take around 30 plus people or so. And the only real issue that I ever heard was that one particular user had Wi-Fi throughput issues. And so what they ended up doing was returning it, swapping out the hardware, and that was really about it. But it's still using the Blade charger, no biggie there. No USB Type-C. And considering how Microsoft has been going with the Type 3, knowing that the Surface Book 2, the $2,400 15-inch version, has a Type-C but not Thunderbolt, it's not a surprise that this thing doesn't have Type-C. And it's not a big deal for today. But the problem is that if you're buying this thing and you want it to last 3 years, and 3 years from now, it might be a little bit of an issue. But overall, I've been very happy with this machine. I use it at least a couple times a week, at least. Even though I have a more powerful Surface Book, this is a nice, just kind of like couch computer, and it's easier to just kind of use in the tablet form factor. The 15-inch tablet, when you pop it off, is great. Don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. It is fabulous. But it's a little bit wieldy, and it's a little large. And I've got a 4-year-old too, and this is like a better size for that. It also feels a little bit heavier and denser, and like it's less fragile, if you will. But here's kind of what you need to know. The Surface Pro, still a rock-solid machine. I don't have any official numbers from Microsoft, but using third-party sources, this is the most popular Surface, and it's pretty easy to see why. It's got a nice quasi-iconic form factor, right? Microsoft defined the market with this type of device. There's many competitors out there now. And it shows because people are resonating with this. The keyboard, it's not a best-in-class keyboard when you compare it to a traditional keyboard like the Surface Book 2 or even the Surface Laptop. But here's the thing. It works well. And for somebody who's not pounding out 1,000-word essays like I am several times a week, it's perfectly fine. It works well on the back of a plane. I haven't had many lappability issues with it at all. I know that for some people that's a concern. But Microsoft has done a good job here. I think the Surface Pro is holding up on its own. And if you're on the fence about buying one, you can probably find a pretty good deal right about now with the holiday shopping season. You will not be disappointed by this machine in any way, shape, or form. Just know that it's not a super high horsepower machine. It doesn't have a dedicated GPU or anything like that. So keep that in mind. But it is a nice, sleek device that has held up well, made of premium materials. And it kind of resonates just the best of Surface, right? It's kind of a different form factor, unique style keyboard, pen input, and all that good stuff. And so the Surface Pro holding up well. And, it's still recommended. So if you're on the fence, dive in, folks. That is just a quick update here on the Surface Pro. It's not a super in-depth, go read the original reviews and that kind of stuff. The reason why I like to do this is every once in a while we'll do a long, well, this isn't long-term, this is about a midterm review update. We'll see issues crop up, and I did scour, and granted, everybody's use case is going to be slightly different than mine, and everybody's going to have a slightly different opinion on if it's reliable or whatnot. But for the most part, after looking around, looking at all the reports of issues, this thing it's rock solid. Microsoft has ironed out the kinks of this form factor, this style, and they're just kind of marching down the line of just iterative updates, which is fine. if I'm putting in requests for the next gen, would be smaller bezels but a larger screen, meaning keep the same size. Like the physical footprint of this thing is fine, it's perfectly fine. Just get rid of those bezels. Microsoft, you're smart enough to know how to do palm detection, and it's already built into some of this stuff. Just get rid of it. Just get rid of the bezels. That would make this thing look a lot better and a lot sleeker. And USB Type-C with Thunderbolt charging. I know why they're keeping the Blade, because if you've already invested in the Blade chargers for your office or workspace, you can just continue to use those. And what I suspect is that the next gen will probably still have Blade, but also maybe Type-C Thunderbolt charging, and that's how they'll do the transition. But those are kind of the two big requests. And on the personal side of life, I would love it if they would offer this thing in burgundy and cobalt. Those colors look wonderful. They look wonderful, fabulous even on the Surface laptop. So give us the color options here, Microsoft, please do. But this has just been a quick overview of the Surface Pro after 6 months, and it's holding up well, guys. That's all for now.